Hey guys, it's Sharon from Mommy Runs It. Long time no see. This is my first video in ages, and I'm so glad you're here to check it out. It's a rainy day. I am stuck in the house, so I thought it would be a great time just to do a little catch up with you guys, let you know how things are going over here now that I am just a few days away from my 2-year post-op date since my spinal fusion, and also maybe just answer a few questions that I'm asked pretty frequently. So, yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to address is why it has been so long since my last video. And I've gotten some messages from people who were concerned that they hadn't heard from me on here because I wasn't doing well. And I am very happy to tell you that that's not the case at all. I am doing great. I just happen to keep up with my blog and social media much more often than I do here. So if you are interested in how I'm doing, on an ongoing basis and you want to keep up with me, I would suggest you follow me there. You can find the links down at the bottom of this post. As to why I don't post more often on here, honestly, I just find it harder. I'm not very good at editing videos. I never know where to look at the camera. The lighting is hard. I make weird faces. It's just so much easier to edit one picture or one post than to have to put a bunch of clips together. I just never really feel like it's great. So if anyone out there wants to give me some tips on making better vlogs, I'm all for it. But for now, I'm probably mostly going to stick with my writing. So of course, the big thing that everybody wants to know is how my life is after my spinal fusion. My fusion was in May of 2016, May 26th. And so we're just a few days short of my 2-year spine-iversary. So simply put, life 2 years post-op is really good. I am 1,000 times better than I was before surgery. I am virtually pain-free as far as spinal pain in my back, my legs, my hips, no numbness or tingling. All of the issues that brought me to see a doctor in the first place and led me to have surgery are gone. I do still have some achiness and stiffness in my back, but, of course, I have rods and screws in my back, so I think some of that is to be expected. I have a few limitations here and there. I'm not able to do everything that I want to do, but I am able to do so much. I've been able to travel a ton. I am able to do all of the regular mom stuff with my kids. I stay very busy. I do everything that I did before surgery and then some. So I'm doing really well, and if I could go back in time, I would definitely have the surgery again. So I mentioned traveling, and that's actually another thing that I get asked about a lot. Can you travel after a spinal fusion? And the answer is yes, absolutely, you can travel. And in fact, my family is going to Puerto Rico to celebrate my 2-year anniversary from my surgery. Actually, the trip just fell on that date, but still, it's pretty cool that we're going to be celebrating. So yay, that'll be fun. We're going to be doing hiking and water sports and walking on the beach, of course, which is totally my favorite. So Puerto Rico is coming up very soon. Also, we've been to New York, all since my surgery, Washington, D.C., the Virgin Islands, Las Vegas, Colorado. I've been to Colorado twice. We've been all over Florida, theme parks, water parks, you name it, canoeing, kayaking, all kinds of outdoor activities, swimming. So I'm staying very busy. And of course, I'm trying to hit every beach along the East Coast that I possibly can because I love the beach. So yes, travel is possible. You just have to be prepared to make some accommodations. At first, one of the things that was tricky was that I was really, really tired. So you just have to work within your limitations and be realistic of your expectations and what your travel partners expect. Make sure they know that you might need naps or there might be some things that you can't do. But really, travel has been one of the biggest blessings to come from this whole process. I think it just gave us a new perspective on life and family time, and we have really made family travel a big priority since my surgery. So yeah, travel is awesome, and you can definitely do it after your fusion. Another thing I'm asked on a regular basis is whether or not I have been able to start running again since my surgery. And I'll answer that in 2 parts. So part one, am I able to run? Yes, I am cleared by my doctor. I was cleared a long time ago for running and basically all activities that I wanted to do as long as they didn't cause me pain. So I am able to run. However, part two, am I running? The answer is no. At this point, I'm choosing not to run because it's still uncomfortable for me. The impact of my feet hitting the ground just really causes my back to feel not good. And I choose at this point to avoid that discomfort and to just find other ways to stay fit and, keep myself mentally well. Other types of exercise and things. So there are plenty of people who run after their spinal fusion, and for them, running is so important that they can push through the discomfort and get past the fear of being hurt. And I think that's awesome. For me, there's just still a lot of fear about injuring myself. I don't like to be uncomfortable. If it hurts, it's not fun for me. So, so that's where I stand. I am hopeful that I'll be able to run again. But at this point, I am not running, but I'm okay with it. So yoga is another story entirely. I started really getting into yoga type fitness, taking classes at the Y and doing some stuff at home in like late 2015 when I had to stop running. This is when I was diagnosed with spondylolisthesis, and it started looking like surgery was going to be in my future. And I fell in love with yoga. I grew up dancing, and yoga seemed like a really natural fit, a good next place for me to go. And I was able to do it for a while, but I eventually had to stop because of my back. And I haven't really picked it up since my surgery, which is a little disappointing, but is also, again, like with running, I think primarily fear-based. And I know that I need to push myself a little bit more. I'm just afraid of getting hurt. I'm afraid of taking a class and being vain and pushing myself too hard and winding up getting hurt. I pushed myself too much doing yoga early on in my recovery, and I ended up in pain for months. And I just don't want to go back there. So I am working on my flexibility at home, working on my core strength, and yoga is like my eventual goal. So people often ask me about physical therapy. And this is one of the areas where if I could go back, I would have done things differently. I had a few in-home physical therapy sessions immediately after my surgery, like day 3 or 4 or something like that. Someone came to the house and we just did some very mild exercises. At that point, it was difficult to even get out of bed. So that was like about 2 weeks worth of PT. When I went back for my 3-month follow-up, my surgeon told me that PT was available to me, but that it was optional. And I chose not to do it. I thought that I could handle, my recovery on my own, being, relatively well-versed in fitness and exercise, being a runner and in good shape. I thought that I could handle it on my own, which, unfortunately was not the case. And I wound up in physical therapy at about 8 months post-op, but only because I was having problems with my SI joint. So when people ask me about physical therapy, if you were given the option to do it, please do it. As early as your surgeon will let you, like 6 weeks or 3 months. I'm not sure when the usual date is, but do it. Don't end up doing it down the road to try and fix a problem. Start being proactive, building up your strength so that you can do more down the road. So I'm also asked pretty regularly about pain medication, and I know this is kind of a touchy subject, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, including how much medication you were taking before your surgery. I was not on any narcotic pain medication before my surgery, so I think minimal doses of pain meds were fine for me. They did the job, and I stopped taking them when I was done. For people who are on heavier doses of pain meds before surgery, I think it becomes a little bit more of a challenge finding the right combination of medications and then weaning off of them. I was on pain medication for, maybe 3 or 4 weeks during the day, slowly weaning off to Tylenol. And I took 1 pill at night for a little bit longer than that. I don't know what the recommendation is, but I didn't have any trouble stopping. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the pain meds really helped me that much with the back pain. Anyway, they just kind of like dulled everything out and made it a little easier to sleep and to rest. But as far as helping with the specific pain, never really was that much of a help. So I don't take any meds right now, except, every once in a while I'll take Tylenol or ibuprofen. I've had a couple of instances where I've had to take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen if I just felt really achy. But that's about it. Generally, I just take 400 milligrams of ibuprofen or extra strength Tylenol, and that works for me. So, but that's me. Everybody's different. Do I have any tips for spinal fusion recovery? How do I make my surgery recovery less painful, more comfortable? Where should I do my recovery? What do I need to have in my house to prepare? What type of help will I need? All awesome questions, and I have a blog post that answers with all of my thoughts on the subject, on recovery tips, how to make your life, a little bit easier, relatively speaking. So I'm going to link to the blog post in the comments and read my tips, and then go down to the comments because some of the readers have left some really awesome tips for recovery, both physically and emotionally, recovering from a spinal fusion. The recovery post is part of my Spinal Fusion FAQ page, which I'm just getting started with, but I'm pretty excited about. I've only got a few questions there so far, but if you have any that you would like me to address, drop me a note and let me know, and I'll try and put together a post for that one too. So, am I recovered at 2 years post-op? It sounds strange to say that it's been 2 years since my surgery and I still don't feel fully recovered. But I think that if you're watching this and you are recovering from a spinal fusion and you're a year, maybe 2 years out from it, you know what I mean. I think strength builds over time and not just months, but years. I got a message just this morning from someone who is getting ready to hike the Grand Canyon, and he had a spinal fusion, and it was 10 years ago. So I don't know, a 20-mile hike sounds crazy to me at 2 years post-op, but who knows, maybe in 10 years I will have the strength again to hike or to run as I once did, 20 miles or more. So I guess the answer is yes, kind of. I'm recovered as much as any person can be at 2 years post-op. And I really am hopeful that I'll continue to get stronger, to get more flexible, to be able to do more and more. For right now, I live a great life, a normal life. I do really everything that I want to do. I don't have any major restrictions. So I consider myself a spinal fusion success story. And I just want to put in another plug for the blog. I am working on a section for spinal fusion success stories, and I've got a couple there already, and I would love to hear your success stories and include them in this section. I really just try and keep this channel, my social media and blog positive, and not to say that bad things don't happen with a spinal fusion, but there are those of us with a positive outcome too. So I want to spread the message and hopefully be an example for you that you can do well and live a good life after a spinal fusion. So I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I appreciate your support. Your messages are awesome. Check out the comments below. I'm going to link a bunch of stuff down there for you, and let me know how you are, and I will try not to make it 5 months until my next video. Thanks. Bye.